So we all see things on Pinterest or in magazines that we absolutely fall in love with. But then we see the price tag. Well, in today's video, I'm going to do a high-end DIY dupes on a budget utilizing things from the Dollar Tree. I don't know about you, but I love browsing Pinterest, finding different things that I would love to incorporate into my home. But I know that I have a tight budget. Do not have hundreds of dollars to be able to buy something just for the sake of decor. In this video, I want to show you how you yourself can do a couple DIY dupes all on a Dollar Tree budget. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I am Lindsay with Organized to Save, and I'm here to help you be a more productive and organized on a budget, as well as share some fun DIY and decor inspiration. Now, all of these DIYs that I'm sharing with you are recent DIYs that I've done for my kiddos' new bedrooms. If you haven't been following along on our transformation, we are currently in the process of redoing several rooms in our house. We're getting ready for a new baby to come, moving my daughter into a new big girl room, and relocating my husband to a new office. So we have a lot of moving pieces right now. And obviously I want things to look cute and pretty, but I don't have an unlimited budget. I had to think outside the box a little bit, and I came up with some really fun Dollar Tree DIYs. Let's go ahead and dive into these couple super fun DIYs. For this first DIY for my daughter's room, I really wanted to create one of those super adorable sunburst mirrors. For this DIY, we got a little creative using some chopsticks as well as a Dollar Tree mirror. Now, I took the frame off of the mirror because I just wanted the mirror part. We're also going to need some cardboard and just simply trace around the mirror. Now, if you saw my Christmas video from this year, you've seen these wooden beads before. I actually picked these up at Michael's, but I have seen similar wooden beads at the Dollar Tree in the past. So all that I did was I simply started with a template and spaced out a chopstick and then two of the wooden beads. Now you're going to want to make sure that you do a dry fit first to make sure that all of your spacing is correct before you start gluing things down. Once you know that everything is going to work out perfectly, all you need to do is start hot gluing the chopsticks and the wooden beads around your cardboard frame. Now, I made sure to have the pointy part of the chopstick facing out so that way there was a cohesive look all the way around, and I simply eyeballed the placement of the chopsticks. Once all of the chopsticks and the wooden beads were secured in place, I simply flipped it over and hot glued the mirror on the front. This made for a super high-end looking mirror for only a couple dollars. So get creative, look around your house and see what you can repurpose, like some chopsticks. For this next DIY, I found the inspiration on Pinterest. I found this awesome fan, but I did not have several $100s to drop on a new fan. So I thought outside of the box and found this awesome metal wreath at the Dollar Tree and thought, you know what, I could turn this into a fun DIY. So for this DIY, along with the wire frame, you're going to need those same beads that we used for our previous DIY, as well as some wire and your hot glue. And all that I started doing was stringing on the wire beads and creating arches, securing them to the wire frame. You're going to want to make sure to keep them all about the same size. I just kind of eyeballed it and made sure that when I held it up to the light had plenty of breathing space because you don't want the beads to be touching the light bulb. Now, once you have all of the strands built together, collect them all in the center. Just use a strand of the wire to secure them in the middle. Now, to clean up the edges, I used some of the beads and simply hot glued them around the perimeter. Now, after the fact of doing this, I actually ended up cutting out, you can see those two other metal rings, because when I held it up, I didn't like being able to see those exposed rings. So I would suggest beforehand to cut out those two rings, unless if you're planning on covering those with more beads. Once everything was secured, we simply just used the wire and actually attached it to the fan that we previously had in this room. Now my daughter has a more elegant looking fan that matches my DIY inspiration and for a fraction of the cost. Now, if you're liking these DIYs in this video so far, please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Some of these DIYs you're getting a little sneak peek of because these are actually things that we're going to be using in our son's nursery. So you're not going to want to miss seeing how they pull the whole room together. For this next DIY, I've seen this really fun inspiration going around on Pinterest using baking soda in your paint. So I wanted to test it out for myself. So all you're going to do is combine your baking soda with your paint. I'll put the ratios on the screen and simply mix it up. Now this is going to have a very thick consistency when you're mixing it together, but you're going to want to make sure that you get all of that baking soda mixed up properly. Now to use this paint, I wanted to go ahead and use a little Dollar Tree vase that I've had on hand from years in the past, but I also picked up a sticker pack of these little bubble round stickers from the Dollar Tree because I wanted to add an extra texture to this little vase. So I simply started by just putting these dots around the vase. You can choose any pattern that you wanted, but I just kind of eyeballed about an inch spacing between each one. And then once all of the stickers were secured in place, I went ahead and started using this paint mixture. But I just used a simple foam brush, again from the Dollar Tree, and proceeded with covering the entire vase. I love the end result that we have with this vase. It gives it a super fun texture, and using those bubble stickers also brings a little bit more life to it. This next DIY, I wanted to recreate this nightstand. Now, I already had a piece of furniture on hand, but I found these wooden dowels from the Dollar Tree that I thought I could use to help recreate this. So I ended up picking up about 12 packs of these wooden dowels and started by just hot gluing them to the front surface of all of the drawers. Now I found when gluing these on that it was best just to do 2 sticks at a time and to try to squeeze them as tightly together as possible. This is going to help with minimizing the gaps between the sticks, and it's also going to help with having the excess glue dry on you before you can get the sticks down. So I just proceeded to fill this entire front of this drawer with all of these sticks. Once I had the drawer face done, I had Jared help me out with cutting off the excess sticks. Now, a little tip for you that he picked up was to actually put something down. We actually just used the wrapping from these wooden sticks because that way it doesn't scrape along the front of the drawer as he was cutting these sticks. Now, since these sticks were about 1 foot long, I was able to get about 2 drawers worth out of all of these sticks that I was using. Each package comes with 10 wooden dowels. And then once all of the drawer faces were cut and glued, we went ahead and sanded the edges so that way they were all at a consistent level. We wanted to make sure that when you're opening and closing the drawer, nothing is going to get in the way, and it's going to have a nice cohesive look from the front. Then we just went ahead and drilled down where the drawer pull is going to go, and the drawer pulls I actually went ahead and spray painted gold. Now I didn't dive into how I actually painted this furniture because I'm saving that for when I talk about the nursery reveal, but I went ahead and painted out the body of this piece white. I am so excited to add this piece into our nursery, but for now I just staged it in our bedroom so you could see how it looks all pulled together. This piece was a complete transformation, and it only cost me $12 for those rods and a can of spray paint. I love being able to reuse and repurpose pieces that I already own. If you want to see how a couple of these DIYs were implemented into my daughter's room, make sure to check out her room renovation video on your screen right now, and we'll see you over there.